I know, shifting into fifth dimension, going onto the new earth sounds so appealing, sounds so amazing. We all want to do it, right? It's a subject that catches our attention, that makes us pay attention. But the question that remains is, where is 5D? What is that even? Is this a place we're moving to physically? How do we do that? What about our relatives and our friends? The first answer to that question is the new earth or the fifth dimension is not a physical place we're going. The fifth dimension is a state of consciousness, just like the third dimension that we're all familiar with is a state of consciousness. You're not packing your bags to go to the fifth dimension. And like I said before, the fifth dimension is a state of consciousness, just like the third dimension is a state of consciousness. So I'm not promising to answer all your questions about this subject in this video, because this subject is complex and mind-boggling. Our minds try to rationalize things and understand things on an intellectual level, but these things transcend the capabilities of the mind, right? And so the goal of this video is to help you get clear on the basics. So that's what I'm intending to do in this video. When we are born, we are light and love, we are spirit. And when we are in the spirit form, totally connected and aware of all that is, God, Source, the great mystery, so many names for the same thing. When we're there, we know we are it. We are all part of the one divine cosmic force, cosmic intelligence. And when we're there, it's all unified and it's all beautiful. But then we decide to come to a very dense dimension, to this plane here, so that we can experience separation. Because how do you know what's love if love is all there is? And so there's no contrast, right? Imagine you live in a world where everything is white. You look around, all you see is white. Everything is white. It's all one thing. It's homogeneous. You lose a sense of reference almost, right? It's like, give me some contrast here, right? So that's why we come here. And so when we come here to the third dimension, we are localized in bodies, and then we separate from God. Separate, right? We're still connected, but we have this impression, we have this experience where everything is separated and we're individualized, and then we are born into the world of duality. Duality and polarity is the nature of the third dimension. So we're born into it and we begin to experience that. So the contrast, so you have light, but now you have darkness, and then you have right and you have wrong. So positive, negative, right, wrong, good, bad, hot, cold, and so on and so forth. This is the nature of third dimension. Now, third dimension is a state of consciousness. Everything is consciousness. The universe is mental. That's the first Hermetic principle, right? Here, things are so dense that they look physical. They look very solid, but nothing is solid. Nothing is physical. Everything is vibrating. That's the law of vibration that states that nothing rests. Everything vibrates. But it's such an experience, and the density here is such that look around, it looks so real. And as Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. So this is the experience we choose to come have here on Earth. Duality, polarity, that's the state of consciousness. So that's the consciousness most of us are vibrating at on Earth. Right? And then we've totally forgotten about the unity about how we are all love and that we're choosing to come here to experience separation, right? And then things can go to such an extent that you have wars, you have fights, you have all of the things that we judge as negative things, right? That's one of the extremes of polarity, right? Oh, this is so bad. Now, notice that this is a judgment, okay? We as humans, we judge because we live in polarity. Polarity is all we know here. And when there is polarity, you're either looking at one extreme of the spectrum or the other. So we're like, oh, this is so bad. This is really good. Now notice that this is also a judgment. This is so good. So it's the same thing. It's polarity and it's duality. So whether we're saying something is horrible, we are judging, or we're saying something is fabulous, amazing, and so phenomenal, that is still a judgment. So even though we tend to prefer the positive things, right? Because they feel so much nicer, they're both judgments and it's all polarity. And this is the state of consciousness of the third dimension. Now, what's the fifth dimension and how do we get there? The fifth dimension is also a state of consciousness, like I said before, and for you to vibrate at the fifth dimension, basically what we get to do is, remember polarity, is like being neutral about it. You're being neutral about it, so you're not falling for the polarity game anymore. So you're not split, you're not divided into one or the other, because that's a state of consciousness. So fifth dimension is essentially a state of non-judgment. I'm gonna repeat that. The fifth dimension is a state of consciousness. The fifth dimension is a state of non-judgment. Think about this for a second. It's a state of non-judgment. Polarity. Oh, this is so good. Judgment. Oh, this is so bad. Judgment. Being in the center. Not polarizing anymore. So something, you see something bad happening, and you're like, all is well. You see something beautiful happening, all is well. The sages and the ancient traditions have been teaching humanity for the longest time the principle that ultimately all is well. All is well. You might see or hear about wars happening in the world, and you might be tempted to vibrate, to feel the emotion that's related to the judgment of what that is, and you might feel sad, and you might feel, disgusted, whatever emotion that comes up. This is a state of third dimension. It's basically forgetting that ultimately all is well. So vibrating at the fifth dimension is basically being non-judgmental, and the universe is providing us with a chance to choose where we're vibrating at every moment. In other words, how are you reacting to anything in the world around you? If you're judging it in any way, shape, or form, you're staying in third dimension. Now, if you remember that ultimately all is well, it is what it is, I am that I am, then you're choosing the fifth dimension frequency. Imagine you're walking, you bump into someone and they spill a beverage on you. That's typically considered an uncomfortable, unpleasant situation. How are you reacting right there and then? Are you getting angry? Are you getting frustrated? Are you getting pissed? You're choosing third dimension. Are you choosing to remain calm and non-judgmental at that moment and be like, all is well? You do what you gotta do. Maybe you change clothes, you clean what you gotta clean, doesn't matter. But where are you vibrating at? Right? So the universe is giving you a chance to choose at all times. And I've said it before in many videos here. How are you reacting to the outer circumstances? Are you trying to control the 3D, the physical world? Are you fighting it? Or are you allowing it to be as it is? Allowing it to be as it is choosing fifth dimension.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be.
Fifth dimension. That's literally fifth dimension. Just let it be. All is well. Now, with all that said, we are conditioned to living in third dimension. So knowing this on an intellectual level does not change things. So this is something you get to practice if you feel called to. Do you feel called to vibrating at the fifth dimension? Do you feel like ascending? You don't have to pack your bags. It's a state of consciousness. The world is mental. How are you reacting to the world around you? So remember, fifth dimension is getting away from the third dimension, which is the dimension of polarity and judgment. This is bad, this is good. This is negative, this is positive. It's getting away from that and finding this central place where you're not, it's fine regardless. There's no attachment, there's no judgment. The less opinions you have, the more in alignment you are with the fifth dimension. So I hope this helped you. I love you very much. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.